wake up, it's time to be free. Wake up, was blind, now I see. Wake up, it's time to be me. Wake up, my mind is the key.
Wake up, it's time to be me. Wake up, my mind is the key.
So welcome. It's Julie and Gordon here with another episode of the Daily Jules, where I drop nuggets of wisdom to help you increase your degrees of freedom. I don't care how many college degrees you have. The only degree that matters is your degree of freedom. It does not matter how much money you make. What really matters is how you actually make money. Today, we have an amazing question from Steven, who has an upcoming meeting with an investor for his company. And it's in 3 weeks, and he wants to know how to get prepared. Steven, thank you for asking this question. I have actually received investment in this very same way, and I'm going to give you the best answer that I possibly can to how you can prepare for this meeting. So, how to prepare for an investor pitch. Okay. So, this is oftentimes, you see this on Shark Tank, right? That's essentially what an investor pitch is. In Shark Tank, they don't use PowerPoints, and I'm glad they moved away from that model. And you literally have to demonstrate the results of your company. You have to have your PowerPoint in your head. And they oftentimes, with their setup, right, the picture is usually here, and then they have some example or demonstration of their product or service over here. And so one thing that you want to think about for this experience that you want to create for the investor, don't think of it just as a meeting, right, or a pitch. You want to create an experience for them, right? And that's one of the key things that they do on Shark Tank. So you want to think about, what is the experiential part? How can I get this person, especially if they're not an expert in my industry, right? They haven't done what I'm trying to do. How can I get them, how can I create an experiential moment for them so that they can really see what it's gonna be like for the customer? So this takes time to think about. This is different than creating a PowerPoint. This is different than putting a business plan together. This is curating an amazing experience for them so that they can see the possibility of what it is that you have to offer. The other thing that I would do is research your investor. I know you've done a lot of work. I know you've done a lot of work on researching your market, your business, etc. But this is the person that you're trying to connect to. This is your customer right now, and you need to know them intimately. You need to be on their LinkedIn profile. You need to see anything that they've written online. You need to Google them and see their track record and their history. You need to know the people that they're connected to and that they know. And if there's any shared relationships based on what you see on LinkedIn, you might want to reference those people, because the closer that person feels to you, and the deeper you understand them and how they think about the world, that's actually going to shape the way you pitch them, right? So if I know that this person sits on the board of directors at a nonprofit that is committed to youth violence or ending youth violence, then that might be a heartstring or a chord that I pull during the actual pitch, not to be manipulative, but actually to show them that not only did I do my research on you, using your research on them as a demonstration of how deeply you've done research in terms of your market, right? So knowing who it is that's sitting across the table from you is going to shape the way you pitch them, right? If this person is just straight numbers driven, that's going to shape your pitch, right? And it's going to be all about the data and the numbers, and you can intuit that, and you can discover that based on using Google to find out more about who this person is, or reaching out to people that you may share relationships with and saying, hey, I have a meeting with Tom Smith tomorrow, and what kind of person is he, right? That kind of information is going to be valuable to you. Okay? The other thing, similar to Shark Tank, you want to practice your pitch. Practice your pitch. Now, here's the counter side to that. You're going to practice your pitch, and it will not come off that way, right? Because in the middle of slide 2, they're going to throw you some curveball question, and your pitch is off. So I don't want you to practice it so that you know it word for word by heart. I want you to know your business in your heart, right? And so that if you get to slide 1 and then slide 2, and then they throw you a curveball that's actually slide 10, you know it so well that you can adapt in that moment to address the objection that is at hand in that particular moment, right? Don't get thrown off, because if you are so focused on 1, 2, please let me stay on track and let me go in order and I'll get to that. No, you want to, if you say I'll get to that, then through slide 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, they're thinking about that question that came up in slide 2, but you don't want to answer till 10. This is a very conversational experience, and you may have your slides, but don't think of them as being in order. Think about them as being tools and visual aids that you can use to address certain questions and objections that come up for the investor. Okay. The other thing you want to know clearly is how much you need, and why. You know, some people go into investment pitches and they just ask for a lot of money because they believe this person has a lot of money. But if I'm investing in you, I want you to be very clear that I need $150,000 because we need to do this. You need to actually have a budget. You need to have a budget for how you're going to utilize their money. And in terms of that budget, I encourage you not to let it end with a 0. Don't use numbers like 150,000. Don't use numbers like I need 100,000. Don't use numbers like I need 500,000, because that's kind of just a big number that you've thrown on the wall. Actually have a line by line item budget down to the penny that says, I've done all this research. This is why I need the money. If I didn't need this money, I would continue to build my company without you. But I know that by having this, that's actually going to cost us $143,016.16. By having these things, we will be able to accelerate our growth, and I'm willing to give you 10% of the company for that, right? You also need to know your base level. You have to know from a negotiation standpoint what your walkaway number is, right? Your walkaway number or equity percent. You need to know what that number is going in. Don't get there and start being whimsical and saying, oh yeah, I'll accept that. Can you do this? No. You need to know what number is good enough for you to say, Mom, no. And because you have to know that, yes, this may be your first meeting, but you have to know that there's plenty of investors out there who are looking to figure out how to grow their money faster than it's currently growing in a savings account and other investments that they have, right? It's kind of hard to actually find places to put your money that have the exponential side growth opportunity in it, right? And so you have to realize that you have the upper hand. There is more money out there than great ideas and executors. There is more money out there than great ideas and executors. So don't think that you're on the other end of the equation where you are here begging and they have the upper hand. You have to have the confidence that if you believe that this is not a right fit based on the numbers, the percentage, or even the person might not be a fit. You do not want to take money from somebody just because it's there. Not all money is good money. And you're going to actually be in a marriage, in a relationship with this person. And so if you get a sense that this is not a good vibe, even though the numbers are right, then that may be something that you're willing to walk away from, right? So you actually have the upper hand because you're the one with the viable business idea that they did not come up with. There are lots of people out there with money. There are not lots of people out there with viable business ideas that have multi-million dollar potential to it that is worthy of investment. So just recognize where your power is in this particular dynamic, that you are not on the lower end, that you actually have the upper hand, right? They are actually courting you. Now, that might not be their mindset. They're like, oh, I got a lot of money, and oh yeah, I got this guy coming and pitching me, etc., and he needs me. Nah, it's the other way around. He actually needs you in order to expand his wealth, right? He wants to expand his wealth without having to work. And you have an idea that wealth and his financial capital may be used to expand, and he can benefit from that. Okay, so just remember where your power is in this particular dynamic. So besides that, these are the kind of the 5 things that I would do. I've raised money before for a startup that I had coming out of business school. I raised it from Stanford GSB alumni. Yeah, so I've been through this process, and this is exactly what I would do. Rehearse, and rehearse in front of somebody. Make sure you research the investor. try to create an experiential moment for them, right? If you are in prototype stage and don't have an actual physical product, or you have no way to show them, it's going to be very hard for them to grasp it. It's great to throw ideas off the wall all day, but to the extent that you can help them touch what it is that you are trying to sell, then that's actually going to be more powerful. Get very clear on how much you need and why, and do not end that number in a budget. Get it down to the penny. That shows that you've done your research and that you're not taking on more investment than you actually need. And then know when you're going to say no. They do not have the upper hand. You have the power. Know what number is not good enough for you, and when you say, it's been great talking to you, but I can't accept that, and when you're going to walk out the room. All right. So Stephen, I wish you the best in this meeting. Give us an update in 3 weeks when it goes down. And with that, this is another episode of the Daily Jules. I hope that this blesses you. Not every company needs investment. The way I think about investment is typically the best time to go for investment is when you're cash flow positive. That's how I think about it. There are a lot of .coms out there that have tons of investors but have not created any profit yet. And so they're at scale, but the moment the economy turns, then guess what? So does their company. So I like to go for investment, or I would go for investment when you've actually proven that this is profitable in a small market. And then you're asking for investment to scale. That way you actually, I believe, lose less of your company in terms of equity at that stage. It's easier to prove that you're onto something than it is to say, I have this great idea. A lot of people have great ideas. That doesn't mean it's a great investment. All right. So this is another episode of the Daily Jules. I hope this blesses you. Please share it with anybody out there who is seeking investment and wants to pull from outside resources to grow their company. And I will catch you in the next episode. Peace. I hope these mindsets, metaphors, and methodologies blessed you. If you desire more freedom, go to getfreenow.com to subscribe to the show on iTunes, YouTube, or Facebook, and get 4 of my best courses in the Freedom School for 100% free.